It's almost time for that back to school prep, and we get our kids ready, right, with the pencils, the paper, the supplies, but are we forgetting to prep them with the necessary classroom skills that they'll ultimately need to succeed? Well, my next guest claims that many of the skills our students do need in the classroom are never formally taught. Executive functioning coach Meg Radunich joins me to tell us more. It's so great to see you.
Great to see you, Brooke.
So you call these necessary skills that our students need executive functioning skills, and I've never heard that term, so explain what it means, if you will.
Yes, the best way to describe it is executive functioning is the brain's board of directors that tells us what to do, how to do it, and when to do it.
Okay.
So this includes skills like time management and prioritization, task initiation and focus, organization, working memory, impulse control, and emotional regulation.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot under that umbrella. And for young people and individuals who are neurotypical, usually these skills sort of just kind of fall into place as they move through the school system.
They happen, part of the kind of growing up evolutionary process?
Exactly.
Okay.
But if you know anyone who's neurodivergent, so anyone with maybe ADD or ADHD, dyslexia, maybe they fall somewhere on the autism spectrum, oftentimes these skills can be a little bit trickier and they don't just fall into place naturally. But the good news is that they can be taught, they can be strengthened over time, and that is a big part of what I do as an executive functioning coach.
Is to help strengthen those skills.
Exactly.
Those executive functioning skills. You refer to something called the covey quadrants that helps us kind of understand this process and why it's so important.
Yes, so what we do as an executive functioning coach is we give clients tools and strategies that will help them strengthen these executive functioning skills.
Okay.
Something that I really like to tell students at the beginning of the coaching process is we don't view you as a problem to be fixed. You know, we're not here to fix you. You're not broken. Maybe your grades aren't as strong as they could be, and that's why your parents got you this service. But we don't view you like that. Our goal is to give you tools and strategies to help you be more of who you already are, so that when you do walk into a classroom or a workplace, you know exactly what your gifts are, you know how to articulate them, you also know what your challenges are and how to work around them. So this Covey Quadrants is a tool that I would give maybe like a junior or senior in high school who's a client that's saying, you know, I really struggle with time management and I don't know how to prioritize all of these items on my to-do list. How do I do that? So we would use a tool like the Covey Quadrants and we'd say, well, let's sit down and look at what you have coming up in the next month, 3 months, 6 months. What's urgent and important? Let's put it down on paper, figure out what those items are and get them on your calendar. Now, the one quadrant that can be really difficult for people with executive functioning issues are the tasks that are important but not urgent. So, for example, on that guide there's studying for the ACT. Now, the ACT isn't until October, but someone with ADHD might have a really hard time figuring out how to plan for that long-term project. They need to be doing a little bit every day until the test on October. I think there was also on there Eagle Scout project. You're probably not going to tackle that 3 days before the actual event, right? So that's what we do as an executive functioning coach, is we give individuals strategies and tools to help them work with some of their deficiencies and help them see how their deficiencies might actually be their superpower.
I'm grateful for the thorough explanation into your role, because I think a lot of it kind of bleeds down into the parents' perspective too, like hearing you describe kind of that empowering perspective on how we can view strengths and gifts and even weaknesses too. I think a lot of parents will glean onto. There are 3 things you say we can talk to our kids about preschool year so that they go in armed with a plan and armed with a strategy that taps into their superpower, as you said. And the first question is, what system are you going to use?
Yes, so, you know, I know that school is about 3 weeks away for students here in Utah. Start having informal conversations with your young one. Ask, you know, life is going to change in three weeks and you're going to be in school for 7 hours a day. What are you going to do to focus, and how are you going to manage that transition? How are you going to manage your time, and what are your priorities? What motivates you in the classroom? What doesn't? These are all conversations parents can be having.
And strategies too. You say it's not too early to talk with maybe slightly older children about their approach to the school year.
Exactly. Yep.
also on your list, what motivates you? Is that a good thing to maybe reflect with? I think as a parent, we can say, I know my child, I know what makes them tick, but you're encouraging parents to seek their feedback. Like, what's going to push you this year and make a difference?
Absolutely. The student, it has to start with them. They have to have buy-in as well in the process. I do sometimes work with clients where it's obvious that the parents are very motivated, but the student has to find that internal motivation for the habits to really stick.
I think it's a fascinating field, and as I've said, I love how you're describing it and kind of presenting that lens for parents to look through it with maybe a slightly different perspective, a different edge, if you will, as we go into the new school year. Where can we get more information from you, Meg?
So I work for a company called Beyond Booksmart. We have clients all over the world and a network of coaches all over the country. So all of the coaching is done over Zoom. And but there are, of course, so many wonderful companies that specialize in executive functioning coaching for folks who are neurodivergent, but also for young people that are just perfectionistic, that might procrastinate because they know that their work is not going to meet their own high standards.
Yes, knowing that individual style and how to cater to it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
Thanks,
stopping by to tell us more about it. We'll be right back.